I wanted to share with you guys how to install the dual valve springs and the seals on LS heads. This is for any LS motor. It's all typically the same and fairly easy to install. I ordered this dual valve spring installer off of Amazon. It's a very unique tool, very easy to use. First thing we want to do is we want to put our spacer down onto the head. This is just going to straighten up the tool so that we won't have any misalignment, or we won't mess up any bolt holes or anything like that. We want to thread down our 13mm bolts once we get our spacer under there, and we want to hand tighten them. I hand tighten mine before I zip them down. You don't want to tighten these too much. You just want to give it a little tap. You don't want to over tighten these. It's not that big of a deal, but just, you know, give a little zip to the 13mm bolts. Next thing we want to do is position our tool over the springs. It's a 14mm nut, and what we're going to do is we're going to zip that nut down to where the springs are out of the valves, and you have access to the keepers. Now, I use my magnet to pull the keepers out of the springs and off of the valves itself. After we do that, we're going to go ahead and release tension on the springs. This allows the springs to be free. Just want to note that I use a rag. I set a rag under my valves to hold my valves up because, of course, my head's is not connected to the vehicle. But if we connect it to the vehicle, you want to use compression and air. I use pliers to go ahead and pull those seals off. You just want to grab the seal and wiggle left and right. It'll pop out really easy. It's fairly easy to do. I'm going to install my new seals. It's very important that we put oil on the rubber of the seals so that it's easy to install. I just dip the seal in oil. I mean, it's very easy. Just dip it in oil and put it over the valve. I use a 21mm socket to I use it as a tapping tool. I put it around the seal and I tap. You tap until you hear them hollow out. Like, you tap until you hear like a solid tapping, notating that the heads is sitting, you know, flush with that the seals is sitting flush with the heads. Next thing we want to do is we want to install our dual valve springs. We want to put our covers over the dual valve springs, and we're going to attach our tool back to the dual valve spring. Once we do that, we're going to zip that 14mm bolt down again. Zip it down far enough to where, you know, the valves are popping out the top of the spring. It's easier that way. A lot of people don't go down far enough, and it's hard to put the keepers in. These are the keepers. I put grease on my keeper to lock it in place with the valve so that it's not falling off and it's not moving around and it's not, you know, just being frustrating during installation. So put the keeper in like that. This is what it look like once I get all my keepers in. Once you get the keepers in, we're going to release the tension on the dual valve springs. Once we release the tension on the dual valve springs, the springs will then lock in place. Just be sure you're watching the springs for